The first few days of Commanders rookie minicamp is officially in the books. And with that being said, there's been a lot of guys who stood out, some guys who are, obviously winners, but obviously there's some losers as well. And in this video, we're going to break down everything you need to know about the first few days of rookie minicamp, what to expect going forward, and some guys to definitely watch out for throughout not only the rest of the rookie minicamp, but OTAs, mandatory minicamp, and even training camp as well. Some of these guys are going to really make a name for themselves, so make sure you guys keep an eye on that. Now, before we jump in the video, do me a favor and comment down below which one of these rookies do you think will have the most impactful rookie season. But also, I know you guys are probably going to say Jayden Daniels. Comment down below who do you think is the biggest sleeper in this rookie class. But with that being said, let's dive into the first major winner. And I don't think this is going to come to, a surprise to many. Jayden Daniels looked like the talk of the town, right? He was a beast. Now, again, I know it's just rookie minicamp. There's no pads, there's no full speed, there's no contact. But in terms of what you can show with the first impression as a quarterback is everything. I mean, you go back to, Paxton Lynch with the Denver Broncos. We heard some really negative things about him coming out of rookie minicamp. Jayden Daniels is the complete opposite. I don't want to compare the two, but I'm just saying, a first impression does mean a lot, even without pads and contacts, right? Now, one thing that came across to, with Daniels, his accuracy, his mechanics, his touch on the football on intermediate routes, but also the effortless downfield accuracy, right? He can flick his wrist and the ball can go 50 yards like it is nothing. A very encouraging couple of days of practice here for Jayden Daniels, but don't let this get you carried away. Listen, there's still a lot of work that needs to be done. But for a first impression, Jayden Daniels probably had the best one out of all the quarterbacks, right? Not only was his accuracy on point, but his leadership. Guys, as a day one player, as a day one quarterback coming out of the draft, there's one thing that guys kind of struggle with: leadership. Taking the team and saying, hey, let's go. This is me. Telling your guys in the huddle where they need to be, where they should be. It's a very, very, a difficult process that takes a little bit. But for Jayden Daniels, dude, this shit clicked right away in his head from day one, setting the example, getting guys to follow. It's just a completely different feeling around here with Jayden Daniels in the building, and he's impressed everyone. Not only is he a Heisman winner out of LSU, but this is a guy that's going to change everything for the Washington Commanders. But that's only the first big winner. I don't really want to hyper focus on Jayden Daniels because we know how good of a player he is and how good of a player he can be. But let's talk about some other guys who are really big winners coming out of the first couple of days of practice. Real quickly, guys, before we get back into this video, do me a big favor, hit that like button, subscribe if you're new, join the family, turn on post notifications because we will be covering the Commanders throughout the entirety of rookie minicamp, OTAs, mandatory minicamp, training, everything. Everything you think of, we will be covering it, so make sure you guys join the family. With that being said, let's jump right back into the video. Next guy up, Luke McCaffrey. I mean, Luke McCaffrey looked like a really good receiver, third-round pick this year, former quarterback, wide receiver mix, making his life a lot easier to learn the plays because he is a former quarterback. But he was one of the most intriguing draft picks made by the Washington Commanders during the draft. And obviously, he is a wide receiver right now. But, they were in need of another guy to go alongside Terry McLaurin and Jahan Dotson. And after failing to address the position effectively in free agency, Luke McCaffrey was a very good value pick for them, and a very fascinating prospect. He's an NFL blue blood after following in his footsteps of his father Ed McCaffrey and now his brother Chris McCaffrey. Both those guys were really good in football, and Luke McCaffrey has all the talent in the world to become a standout at the wide receiver position in the NFL. Now listen, McCaffrey seemed to develop as an instant rapport with quarterback Jayden Daniels. Those two looked like they connected from the jump. And this is one thing that we need to monitor going forward, is because whenever you have a rookie quarterback and then a rookie wide receiver building chemistry with each other throughout, not only minicamp, but then training camp, OTAs, right? All this early, training camp stuff. This is going to be huge for when it, comes to regular season time. They're already going to have that connection. And I think that's something that a lot of people underlook. But at the end of the day, McCaffrey has all the tools needed to carve out a very productive career in the NFL. And I think right away he's helped himself, helped his case in terms of how good of a player he can be at the NFL level. And as he continues to grow, continues to build chemistry with Jayden Daniels and some of the other guys here in Washington, I think we could see a really bright future for Luke McCaffrey. Now, one of the biggest surprises so far here for the Washington Commanders is actually an undrafted free agent wide receiver who has made some insane catches like you're going to see here on the screen. The man's been doing really good, right? He's in one of those cases where you have to work from the very bottom to the top. If you want to make this team, you have to show out almost every single day. And so far, that's been Marcus Rosemy Jack Saint. Now, I don't know if I said that completely right, but this guy has managed to accomplish, great things on day one and even day two with the phenomenal one-handed grab, as you guys are going to see in the video here. Just great effort. And, Cliff Kingsbury and his staff noticed right away, giving him a big shout-out in the press conference. He's off to a promising start, and he is definitely one of the big winners from the first couple of days of practice. But don't let it, take it with a grain of salt. There's still a ton of work that he needs to do to continue to build his name, build his portfolio, and make sure that when cuts come, Cliff Kingsbury has no other choice but to keep him on the team because of what he's done on the field. And most of that's going to come from preseason. You got to perform in preseason. You got to perform in joint practices. I don't know if the Commanders have any joint practices this season, but if they do, those are the times you need to compete versus other teams, versus other competition, especially in 11-on-11, 7-on-7s. It's going to be extremely important for him to continue to succeed. Now, listen, he is a former Georgia star, okay? So the fact that he went undrafted is kind of crazy. I expect this guy to continue to make plays, continue to make a name for himself, and I wouldn't be surprised at all if he actually is able to make a big name for himself and even make the team.
Latest on Johnny Newton. We saw he was working on.
Yeah, so I'm glad that you brought that up. I meant to hit that earlier with Johnny. So, foot that he had procedure done is actually doing really well. So, has an issue with the other foot. So, we'll get a procedure done in the next week, and then get back started and get going with the process again. But man, we have high hopes for him. Like, he's such a kick-ass competitor. So, in some ways, you have to get a procedure done. Better do it early. It just didn't happen at the end of August or in September where it sets you back. So, the fact that it's happening now, much better to get that early.
Is that the same issue?
And then obviously we do have one loser, as you saw there from Dan Quinn. We hear that Johnny Newton, one of their high draft picks, will be out for a little bit. Did suffer an injury, not really expected to be on the field anytime soon. But that is okay. Now, the reason that's okay is because, bring him along slowly, but also at the same time, the Commanders don't have an issue at defensive tackle, right? I mean, you have Deron Payne, you have Jonathan Allen. It was probably going to be an uphill battle for him to be a day one starter anyway. So I feel like this gives him a little bit more of, just time to rest, time to heal up before the start of the season and put in that work. I mean, but when you look at this Commanders team, they are so deep at that defensive line position with Dorrance Armstrong, Deron Payne, Jonathan Allen. You bring in Dante Fowler, Jerzon Newton, Fodarian Mathis, right? So they are really deep. This isn't going to kill them. This is not going to be something that really sets them back a lot. But listen, just want to get him healthy, want to make sure he's coming back because at the end of the day, he's a really good defensive tackle. And, when he's healthy, this dude is going to be an absolute menace alongside that D-line. And, again, I'm glad that they're deep at the position because this isn't a big injury for them. Obviously, we'd love to see him work and, getting these reps. But at the end of the day, hey, listen, the mental reps are just as important. Look at the playbook, learn the playbook, look at what they're calling on the field, and just do it in your head every single time. That way, when practice time does come, you're available to, or you actually have the knowledge to know what you're supposed to be doing instead of having to, learn on the spot. So I think, he is a clear loser, but at the end of the day, I think it's okay. I think, they're just going to get him healthy. They're going to get him going, and I do think it's not the worst thing in the world that he is, starting off rookie minicamp, injured in a walking boot. But I'm excited to see him when he gets fully healthy, man. The dude's a stud. Dude's going to be a really good player in the NFL. So, yeah, let me know what you guys think. Hit the like button, subscribe if you're new. We will be posting, more Commanders content throughout the rest of the season. If you guys want to see it, hit the like, subscribe, join the family, turn on post notifications. Not only rookie minicamp, but mandatory minicamp, training camp, preseason, regular season. We're going to cover everything for the Commanders. So make sure you guys are here for that, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.